All right, so let's go ahead and start on installing Unity now, which is the game engine we're going to be using for the class. Previously, we installed Writer. I would suggest doing that video first before we set this up. But overall, we'll be using Writer as our coding IDE and Unity as our game development environment. This will make better sense once we get started. So once you go to unity.com, you'll be presented with something like this. What you'll want to do is go up to the right-hand corner and just click on Download Unity. And generally, you'd sign up with your email. I'm just going to click on Continue with Google. All right, so once I clicked the button, I was presented with this screen, and it went ahead and started to download Unity Hub. I'm going to go ahead and just double-click this. And just like we did with Writer, I'm going to just grab and drop this into my Applications folder. And here in my Applications folder, you could see that we have the various icons for my software. I'm going to just double click Unity Hub here. I'm just going to scroll down to go through all the terms, which I agree with. I'm going to go ahead and click agree. And then you're going to be prompted to sign in again. So go ahead and click on the sign in button. And I'm just going to sign in with my Google account again. And then I'm going to go ahead and just agree to getting the Unity personal version. You can sign up for the student version, which gives you a lot of amazing features. But for now, just to get started, we'll just use the personal edition. For now, we're not going to be covering the Unity CLI in this class, so we don't have to launch it. Just go ahead and close that out. Now, what you'll notice is it's automatically installing the latest editor for me. If you don't see that or it's not doing that, you can go up to installs here, and then you can click on install editor. And what it'll show you is you can also go through these different official releases all, but when you click on install editor, it'll take you to another screen where it'll show you, what official releases are. You can look at the pre-releases here, any of the archived ones up to a certain point, generally with Unity 6, but you could select these other options. In this class, we're going to be using Unity 6, not Unity 7. And so right now, I'm currently installing Unity 6.5. So I'm going to let it go ahead and install here. And if we go to our get setup here, you could see it's showing me the current progress. Scroll down a little bit here. All right, so now that our Unity editor is installed, and we have a nice success message here, the Unity editor is now installed and you're ready to start your first project, let's go ahead and create our first project. So over here on the top, go ahead and click on projects, and then go down to new project here. Now, because we're just trying to test this out, you can see they give us these learning templates. I'm going to close this for a moment. This is getting started with Unity, 2D platformer. These are great if you want to just kind of get additional learning or resources. There's also these other templates you can download from the internet. But I'm just going to go to projects here. Let me click new project one more time. And up in the right-hand corner now, you can see I have a bunch of different options, right? We could make a 2D game, a 3D game, all that good stuff. So for example, right now, let's say we want to create a 2D game. We'll select that option. Off on the right-hand side, you have the option to use AI Assistant. What it'll do is you could always turn this on later. For now, I don't think anybody should be using AI until you're comfortable with the engine, comfortable with art or coding or whatever your discipline is. I think AI just kind of mucks it up unless you're using it as a resource like an encyclopedia. But anyway, back to this. We're going to just name our project name for now, test, and you could save it in whatever location you want. I generally go to my documents folder and I just create a new folder in my documents, and I generally call it Unity Projects. All right, with Unity Projects folder selected, I'm going to hit select folder. And then what I'm going to do is click the create project button and just pause the video. So here we are inside of Unity. And a couple things I generally do is I go up to the corner, I go to layout, I do 2x3. It's just the preferred layout. So if you watch any of my tutorials, you'll see that I have something that looks like this. And then I usually grab my project tab, put it underneath my hierarchy here. And then what you can do is in that same, you could just do save layout, and you could just name it your name. So I do mine as Alex, and then I create it. And that way, if I ever need to go back to it, it's right here. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is connect Writer as my primary script editor inside of my project here. So let's go up to the top here. There's a few things that you need to be aware of. If you go to the Unity symbol here, you'll see settings. On your PC, it'll be the same thing. Will be preferences will be under I think it's edit project settings is here, and then there's like edit preferences. The reason I bring that up is most of the lectures, the game recorded lectures, will be on the PC. I might do a few on Mac as well, but just be aware of that. But if you're on a Mac, you want to go up to the top, go to the word Unity here, and then just go down to settings, and then you want to look for external tools, and then it says external script editor. Open by file extension, we're going to select Writer here. And I'm going to regenerate project files. And then I'm going to close this. And let me show you how to open up and connect Writer. So on my assets folder here, I'm going to right click. I'm going to create a new folder here. I'm going to call it scripts. And I'm just going to right click and create a new mono behavior script, which is the primary script that you'll use for coding. So let's just call this one test. And I'm going to double click it to open it up, and you'll get this trust and open pop-up that appears. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. All right, so here we are with Writer open. It's prompting me with a lot of good stuff here. There's a couple of things to be aware of. If you click on problems down here, generally it'll show you that there's some things that are required. So for example, for me, it says MS Build is required to load Assembly C project because Unity is a C# project. So with that selected, I'm going to do install .NET Core and Mono Development here. I'm going to click on that. And then it's going to show me all of the different pieces that it's suggesting that I would install. What I want to do is install these two here. So I'm going to click install here and then install here. And I'm just going to pause the video and let those install. All right, now that those two are installed, I'm going to go ahead and click save. All right, so now that we have Writer installed, what we'll do in the next video is set up our GitHub account so that we can upload our project and have a nice secure place to store our work.